Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mother Teresa Academy Town Hall meeting, talking about the reopening and return to school since we've been out since March 13th. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you this evening. I wish it could be done in person, but I'm told recently that we're in a pandemic. So who knew? Here we are. We're virtual for now, but we're going to see you real soon in school. My name is Chris Haggerty, and I'm the president of Mother Teresa Academy, Cathedral Prep, and Villa Maria Academy. This is my first month on the job. I look forward to meeting all of you down the road, but we're here this evening with some tremendous people that I'd like to introduce you to, as we've been working very hard planning for the return of our students, of our saints, to Mother Teresa Academy. I was blessed by God to be a person who is one of the founders of Mother Teresa Academy, and the school has been part of my world for the last 4 years. And now God's given me the privilege of being the president of this very school. It's thrilling for me to be a part of your lives, to be a part of your family, and I greatly look forward to it. Also with me tonight is our response team. I'd like to introduce to you our principal, who started when I started on July 1st, Mr. Jason Lattiser is the new principal of Mother Teresa Academy. Jason comes to us via St. George Elementary School and also was probably a 6 or 7 year veteran teacher here at Cathedral Prep. Jason, welcome to the family, brother.
Hey, thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. I just want to say right off the bat, it is an absolute honor to be a part of this community, and I look forward to working with this team to take this school to the next level.
You bet. And also with us, our Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Mr. Will Patuch, who's been serving in that capacity for the past 2 years. This is year number 3 at Prep and Villa, and Will is now part of the MTA family as well. So Will will be overseeing the entire academic and student affair operation at Mother Teresa Academy. Will, welcome to the MTA family. Okay. We had to unmute, that's fine. And last and certainly not least, a veteran of Cathedral Prep and Villa Maria Academy, Mr. Chet Moffitt is our Vice President of Equity and Inclusion. Some of you may have seen Chet roaming the hallways of Mother Teresa Academy last year, but Chet will be a much more visible daily presence at MTA this year. And so we'd like to welcome Chet Moffitt as well. Chet, you're going to be in MTA a lot this year, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Chris. I appreciate it.
Okay. You know, we have a lot to go through tonight, but I think I'd like to start with a prayer, right?
Absolutely.
And I'll just kind of wing one if you don't mind. By the way, for those of you who don't, I did have 2 years in the seminary very early on in my career when I had hair. So it was a mutual decision between the Vatican and myself that I shouldn't continue that career path, but I'll try to see if I can't summon my seminary days with a little bit of a prayer. In the name of the Father and the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, our dear Jesus, and our Holy Spirit, please be with us this evening, this week, this month, this year, as we work hard to welcome your children of God, back to Mother Teresa Academy, so that we can partner with our families to love them, to nurture them, to educate them, to bring you to them. We ask for your guidance, we ask for your strength, we ask for your courage, and we do this in the name of Jesus, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. So for the last 2 months, we have had a very dedicated group of people who've been working to return your children to school. You see their names here. We've been partnering not only with local health officials, government officials, legal counsel on the very best practices and the best way for a healthy return to school. But I want you to understand that we see health as more than just physical health. Because of our mission and who we are, physical health, intellectual health, emotional health, and to me personally, spiritual health matters. The trick for us is to strike the right balance. so that one without the other can work. So we want you to know we've been working hard. We think we have a really good plan that we're going to talk to you about this evening. And then we're going to take your questions when we get through a brief PowerPoint presentation. Right at the bottom, Microsoft Teams, which is a platform we're going to be using for the older grades at MTA.
Correct.
So this is the platform that grades 5 through 8 will use. They make it really easy for people like me who are a bit old and a fossil and don't understand how to use technology. They have this question mark at the bottom. So if you press that question mark, a screen will pop up and you can ask us a question and we will answer those as we go along. So let's get into some of the content if we will. This is our mission statement. If you'd like to memorize and read it, please do. Let me know what it is because I haven't done it yet myself. But what it talks about is everything we've been working on for the last several months, right? Okay, safety and sanitation measures. Number one and first and foremost and so important. All of our employees, our staff members, our students, anybody who enters the building will be required to wear a face mask or a face shield of some kind at all times, with the exception of during lunchtime. So it will be important every day for you to make sure that your little ones have their face covering as they come to school. We are going to distribute, first day of school, MTA branded masks. We'll give everybody a mask. We'll have extra masks available should one of our students forget them. But really, we're looking to you to partner with us. This is going to be a team effort, Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa. This is going to be a team effort on everybody's part so that we can keep our kids healthy. Because the longer we can keep everybody healthy, the longer we know we're going to be in school every day. And that's the goal. So face masks will be mandatory, and we have spaced the classrooms out so that we're going to be able to keep everybody 6 feet apart. We're blessed to have a good-sized building with high ceilings, and we're going to keep your children as safe as possible. We're going to have safety checks coming into school. So we've invested in thermal temperature thermometers. So they're little cameras. So as soon as somebody comes into school, we're going to be able to take their temperature and make sure that it's within 100.4 or less. So we're going to have that safety check as soon as you drop your kids off. We're going to take their temperature coming in the door. And we'll have signage throughout all the hallways. We'll have directions of where kids can walk and where they can't walk. So is it going to be a little bit different than the last couple of years at MTA? Of course it is. Our world is different today. But we'll be taking every precautionary measure possible to keep our kids healthy and safe. We'll have increased sanitizing stations throughout the building, and every student will have their own bin for their personal supplies. I wish they had that when I was in grade school because I wouldn't have lost anything. But so we're going to have that for your kids, and that will be available. And high touch areas, desks, hand railings, things like that, we're going to be sanitizing between class periods. We have a dedicated faculty and staff. They are all in on this. They're going to help us. We're going to be adding maintenance positions to all of our campuses so that we can keep our facilities sanitized between classes, after school, etc. Our administrators, Chet, Will, Jason, will be trained in contact tracing so that should we have a positive test at some point in time, we will be able to accurately trace who might have been in contact with that individual, whether it be a student or an employee. So that training is taking place. We have a digital pass system that we're going to use, and Jason's going to explain what that is.
Absolutely. Through one of the applications on the iPads that we are fully committing to at MTA, we will have the ability to use digital pass systems that will be able to keep a running record of where the children are at all times, but also it'll completely eliminate the use of paper-based pass like you would see in a traditional school setting.
Okay, beautiful. And we'll get into the iPads in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Real cool. We have some cool stuff for you tonight, everybody.
Exciting, yeah.
So we're going to limit the number of students in the restroom to one at a time. Again, it's for safety purposes, health safety purposes, and we'll have increased spacing during lunch periods. So grades 5 through 8 they will eat in the cafeteria.
Correct, yes.
In grades K through 4, we'll have lunch, and we'll take it up to the classroom.
Correct.
So our younger saints will be eating in the classroom, but this way we'll be able to keep everybody spaced out. We'll be able to deliver the lunch service, so there'll be no interruption in our cafeteria service at all. And again, we really are going to ask you to talk to your children so that we can have as much cooperation as possible during the school day to have as smooth a transition as can be given the circumstances. So at this point, I'm going to turn things over to Jason to talk about some of the safety measures, our schedule, and what it's going to actually look like come August 24th.
Absolutely. Just to piggyback off of what Chris was saying pertaining to lunches. So we will be running the 2 lunch model as per usual at MTA, except we will be able to space our students out so that on a large circular 6-foot table, we will only be having two students at each table with their name tag, with a name tag above that, so everybody is able to sit at the exact same spot, so it'll limit the amount of contact. And that will be, so first period lunch will be grades 5 and 6, second period lunch will be 7 and 8, and as Chris stated earlier, the National Food Program will be preparing lunches for students, and we will have those delivered directly to the classroom. As you can see here, this next slide is actually, I put a copy of the daily schedule, our new daily schedule. It is similar. The day is a little bit extended. We have arrival time between 7 and 8 o'clock, and I will talk about how that might look. And then homeroom from 8 to 8:15 with a dismissal time of 2:45. Okay, so to the right of the screen, you see the actual daily schedule and how it would look in the new Mother Teresa Academy handbook for parents and students. Schedules have been adjusted and times staggered to limit the possibility of contact between students, faculty, and staff.
I want to jump in also. So we're recording this, and this will be on the MTA website tomorrow, as well as the PowerPoint slide deck we'll have available as well for everybody. So you don't need to take notes. We're going to get this to you on the MTA website tomorrow.
Absolutely, and this is something that will also be provided for families at Mother Teresa Academy. This is what our drop-off procedure in the morning will look like. So parents will form an organized drop-off line in the right-hand lane of 11th Street. They will be told to stop at a certain point. They will be asked to get out of the car with their appropriate face coverings. The car will move forward to a designated waiting area. At that time, the children will get in a socially distanced line where they will enter the building and they will have their temperatures checked daily through our new thermal scanners. So really the student would just walk up to it. We're going to give the thumbs up. Somebody outside will give the thumbs up to the parent so the parent can end up driving off. If there is a temperature that is higher than 100.4, the child will be asked to return to the car with the parent. But we are also looking into having a second designated area where there could be a second temperature check as well. And we'll get into the details of that a little further when I start sending out communications to parents. When addressing health and wellness resources at Mother Teresa Academy, we will be having increased messaging about mental health resources and the ways to manage time, emotions during the stressful time. Guidance counselors will always be available. We will also have our student assistant program, Blessed, up and running as well. And we've committed to adding health professionals on the Mother Teresa campus. For example, a more frequent nurse and an extra counselor as well. So those supports will also be provided for families.
And by the way, Chet's going to be a great resource at Mother Teresa Academy. Chet will have a daily presence in the school. So any family, any student who wants to talk with Chet at a particular time, sometimes our little ones, they will talk to the guidance counselors more than they'll talk to us, because there's going to be some fear, there's going to be some anxiety.
Absolutely.
Little kids, they're not used to, none of us are used to wearing masks, but little ones with masks on, you know, they may share more with our counselors and with Chet than they might with mom and dad or us.
So the attendance policy for this upcoming year, it can either be in person or remote every day. Attendance will be taken in class and for those remoting in. Because of our flexible technology plan, which you'll see in a little bit, we're able to do this. So pre-planned remote instruction, whether that be every day remote or some kind of combination of that, should be communicated the Friday before the instructional week to the main office. So there'll be a form that families can fill out, basically making the school aware of what the schedule for your family is going to look like for the upcoming week, whether that's in school every day or if there's certain days or the entire week in which the family or the student would like to go remote. Student absences will still be limited to 10 days, but we will be flexible in giving student family health situations a priority. Medical excuses do not count against the 10-day absence. So our philosophy moving forward as we're getting into technology, the ultimate goal for the remote learning plans is to provide direction, information, and resources to ensure all students have opportunities for continued learning that regularly engage and focus on content, skills, and enrichment. Students and families will be given routines and schedules to promote effective communication and to continue a strong connection with their school community. We are committed to serving our students and families and offering a level of education worthy of our mission. Mother Teresa's remote learning plan provides a balance that allows for more connection, ensures the success of each and every student, and allows the flexibility required for our educators and students to manage learning outside of our classrooms. So for our package for specifically middle school, we'll be trying to replicate what is happening on the campuses of Cathedral Prep and Villa Maria Academy. It's a very ambitious plan, but with the teams that we currently have in place, we're going to make it happen, and it's going to be the best. In terms of devices, like I said earlier, MTA has committed to a one-to-one iPad program initiative for each student, K through 8. The middle school classrooms, not only will they be rewired for connectivity, they will be equipped with a ProWise touchscreen monitor, a Lenovo Think Smart Hub, a 20-inch TV panel, cameras, microphones, speakers, etc., in order to give the best and optimal learning experience even from a remote learning environment.
So what you are seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen, using the Microsoft Teams platform is exactly what the 5th through 8th graders will be seeing should they be doing remote learning at any point during the year. So our intention is to everybody in school, but if our 5th through 8th graders are remote, they're not going to miss a beat. They will see every single thing that's happening in the classroom. They will be able to participate in the classroom by asking questions, hearing everything the teacher and fellow students are saying as if they were there. The technology is state of the art. There's not a better way to do it on the planet right now. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars at our campuses to do this the right way. And as Jason mentioned, all of our kids will have their own iPads, and they will simply open up the iPads and they will follow their class all day long should they be at home.
Absolutely.
It's called synchronous learning, and we've done it because we love your kids and we want them to learn. So the technology is going to be there to do that.
So as you can see, the picture on the right was taken of Villa Maria Academy students. So like as Chris stated, the child, even at home and in the classroom, will be able to interact just exactly the same as having that in-school or in-classroom experience. In terms of a learning management system, again, we're going to replicate Villa Maria and Cathedral Prep with using Microsoft Teams Rooms and also with Outlook as well. Some of the supporting applications that you might see that pairs well with that is Microsoft OneNote, Microsoft Channels, Microsoft Class Management Folder, PowerPoint Recorder, and all the educational apps that will be provided through your iPad device, a la Khan Academy, things like that. As you can see on the right, you can kind of see how the platform would look, but not only that, Teams was able to provide us with a pretty cool new feature. It's called Auditorium View. So that screen that you see up right now with all the students in the classroom, that's what would be projected on that back TV. So even those students who are remoting from home will be able to see them in that format and actually point to them and call them out.
It's so cool. It's unbelievable.
For K through 4, all right, like I said before, each student K through 8, so specifically K through 4, will be provided with a one-to-one iPad initiative. So they will all have that device in their hands, and each classroom will have the ability of not only the ProWise touchscreen monitors, but also added cameras and microphones and speakers, so that remote learning can be as seamless as possible. In terms of a learning management system for the elementary school K through 4, we'll be using Seesaw Class paired with Seesaw Parent and Family. So the actual learning and instruction can happen through Seesaw Class, but also families will have access to Seesaw Family on their phones or any other device, where they're able to not only see what the child sees, their assignments, but also use it as a platform for communication with the teachers as well. We also using supporting apps such as Zoom for video conferencing with the little ones, YouTube channels for pre-recorded videos, PowerPoint recorder, and again, they will have access to all the educational apps on their iPad, a la BrainPop, Kahoot, things like that. As we move forward to an actual instructional options, as educators, we wish to provide learning experiences indicative of an at-home or an at-school learning environment. Mother Teresa Academy is committed to keeping children emotionally supported, physically safe, and engaged in learning. Our focus should be on the continuity of learning and creating learning environments that are inclusive for all learners. Our goal is to offer a level of education that is worthy of this mission. Although we believe children learn more effectively in the classroom environment, your child's safety is of paramount concern. That being said, we are implementing procedures that allow for the safest possible learning space for your child in school. Although we encourage in-school learning to support your child's academic, social, and emotional needs, we do know that this might not be an option for all families. Due to our cutting-edge technology initiative, we'll be able to support remote learning and allow for flexible instructional models.
So here's the exciting part.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of whether we want to call them phases, green, yellow, red, right now, MTA, along with our mission leadership team, is committed to having students on campus for face-to-face instruction 5 days a week, not only in green phase, but in yellow phase as well. So until we have government directives that say we have to close the building, we are fully committed to having your students in the building all the time in the safest possible way.
So continue. We have questions stacking up, so continue to ask questions. But
absolutely,
it is our firm belief that the best place for students to learn is in school and in person. We have the technology to deliver an unparalleled product remotely if we need to, but it is our intention. We believe we've sanitized the school. We can create the proper social distancing. We will adhere to the face mask rules and regulations, but we firmly believe that school is the place for the children to learn. And it's more than just academics, everybody. This is about emotional support. This is about spiritual support. We're a Catholic school. We can say the word Jesus. He's the reason this school exists. And we believe it's important to deliver all of that to your child. And we will.
A huge advantage of Mother Teresa Academy is our lower numbers in the classroom. Because of that, we are able to be at full capacity. And once I start communicating with families specifically about how a classroom will look once it's set up, we're able to put our desks at least a minimum of 6 feet apart. Some of our desks in some of our classrooms will be 6.5, 7 feet apart. So we have an advantage over almost every other school plan that I've ever heard of in this area, especially. So that is a huge advantage moving forward for not only our school, but our students and families as well. So protocol for positive tests. Will, did you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. Sorry about the mic problem earlier, everyone. Very happy to be here to share with you all. So if a student or staff member receives a positive test result, they need to be quarantined out of the building as well as all school events, and they should all stay home by the direction of the Department of Health until they are symptom-free and have clearance from a doctor. Now, if a student or adult has been in close contact, as identified by the CDC, which is within 6 feet or more for more than 15 minutes, face mask or not, that means they now need to quarantine for 14 days or until they produce a negative test for COVID-19 outside of a 2-day window of contact with the individual who tested positive. And that's guided by the Erie County Health Department. So going back to what Chris and Jason have been talking about, is that this basically means that there is, if there is a positive test in the building, which the unfortunate reality of this situation is there's a very good chance that there will be a positive test in a student or an adult, and that will mean that students will have to be out of the classroom, teachers might have to be out of the classroom, and the technology plan and systems being put into place will ensure that your son or daughter's education will continue at Mother Teresa Academy.
Thanks, Will, I appreciate it. So to begin the school year off, like we said, we plan students will attend school at full capacity with all safety and sanitation procedures in place. They will have their temperature checked daily before entering the building. They will be appropriately spaced in classrooms and in common areas greater than 6 feet. They will follow signage, arrows, hand washing directives. They will be wearing masks when entering the building in common areas, hallways, etc. They will be assigned into consistent groupings by grade to limit contact. Also, they will have the access to cutting-edge remote learning technology, which is going to allow our families a lot of needed flexibility. To begin the school year, parents will be notified immediately if their child is exhibiting symptoms or was in contact with someone who was exhibiting symptoms. They will be communicated on a regular basis as to the status of state, federal directives and changes in learning models. In terms of athletics and extracurriculars, yes, this landscape is shifting on a daily basis, but as of today, our intention is to fully participate in interscholastic athletics in line with health guidance from our state and local officials. All extracurriculars are planned to continue as best as possible with additional consideration given to remote access and keeping students responsibly socially distanced as necessary. We will update you with this information if guidance/directives change.
You bet. So again, this is a very fluid situation. The governor came out today with a statement that kind of confused a lot of people, talking about athletics in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that there may not be sports until January 1st. We're trying to get clarification on that. And when we do, we will adhere to the guidelines and recommendations of the Department of Health and the Department of Education. But we strongly believe that if we're able, extracurricular activities are really, really important to the growth and development of young people.
Absolutely. So to begin the school year, Mother Teresa Academy students and families will have access to the following services: your Act 89, your Title I math, reading, speech, and language coaches, after-school programming, after-school AmeriCorps enrichment programming, and we'll also have a representative from the Crime Victim Center as a counselor who will be there at least 1 day a week for a full day, who specializes in some of the issues that are brought on by the COVID pandemic, and also if anyone is in need of things like court advocacy or anything like that. So those are all great resources that we still will have available to our families.
Yeah, so this is the 4th year of operation for Mother Teresa Academy. And without question, we have more support positions this year than we've ever had in the past. So we're very blessed. We can even talk a little bit when we get to the questions. There are some questions about after-school care.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about the AmeriCorps program, but we're blessed to have a bunch of support beside our outstanding classroom teachers.
Absolutely. All right. So as we move forward, communication is going to be key, and specifically when Chris starts to talk about that partnership between the families and the school, it's going to be crucial that we communicate daily and weekly with updates to allow families to plan, schedule, and for our teachers as well. Some of the ways that we'll be communicating with you is through email, through Outlook, phone calls, weekly newsletters via email, surveys through SurveyMonkey, and also through our social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. those will all be available.
Indeed.
All right.
So again, if you have questions, we have questions lined up and we're going to get to them right now.
Yep.
So if you have any questions, just type in the question key and we'll do our best to answer. And if for some reason you have a question that is not answered tonight, simply call the school tomorrow, right?
Sure.
We're here to help you feel as comfortable as possible with our plans to reopen the school. And anything that you might have, please give a call to the office. Jason will be there. Lily Munoz is there all the time. Although, you know, I don't personally always want to talk to Lily. You know, we'll take a shot at it anyways.
Right.
I'm
She's
kidding.
gonna tell you how she feels.
I know
right?
she's watching and she'll
Yes.
send me a text message in about 3 seconds here,
Yep.
telling me something really bad in Spanish.
Yeah.
So, but we got a great team of people, and we're here to wrap our arms around your children just like you do, and give them the very best we have. So a couple of questions. I would like to know if the consensus wants their kids in school Monday through Friday, especially if we're paying tuition. It's a really good question. The consensus is yes. That our people by and large want the kids in school. You're going to have the option if you're not comfortable with that. And technologically speaking, it's a good option to have. So if you don't feel comfortable sending your child to school, you can still get the Mother Teresa Academy experience.
Absolutely.
The preference is to have them in the building, okay? But that's going to be up to you. This one I can't handle, maybe somebody can. Will bus passes be provided? Is that us or is that the local school district? Does anybody know?
We probably have to reach out to
Yeah,
them.
I can touch on that one. To our knowledge, bus passes for all students that reside in the city of Erie, those still will be provided.
Okay, good. So they would check, Will, with the Erie School District?
Actually, we will coordinate that out through the main office as we get closer to the start of the school year.
Okay.
Yes, there was an update concerning that actually today, I believe, so we'll be able to communicate that with families.
Great. Okay, question. My daughter has asthma. Can she wear a face shield? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
As long as the face shield covers the nose and the mouth, we're perfectly good to go with face shield. So the answer is absolutely yes. From my friend Carla, how many students in a class? What's our average class size, Jason?
Right now, we're looking between, some classes will be as low as 15, so between 15 and 20.
Okay.
Is what we're looking at right now.
So everybody knows we made a decision during the summer, knowing that we were going to be in a socially distanced pandemic, to keep the class sizes small. We have room for additional students if we were in a normal, whatever that means anymore, in a normal environment. But we made a conscious decision that we were able to keep everybody in the building if we kept the class sizes smaller this year. So as long as we're in this pandemic, our class sizes will be in that 15 to 18 range, so we can keep everybody distanced in the classroom. And again, that was a conscious decision by the administration of the school.
And again, so what we've, because we're keeping those groups consistent, meaning that for the most part, a lot of those kids will be staying with the same group of children, and pairing that with specials teachers and middle school teachers, actually, they're the ones moving and not the students. It's definitely going to limit contact with all of those situations.
Beautiful.
So that's a huge advantage for us right now. And like I said, with the desks in the room, we'll be able to keep them at least 6 feet apart at a minimum. But going along with that is that some of the larger spaces within the building are actually right now getting rewired to be classrooms. So for instance, that art room, gorgeous, beautiful, big room, most likely will be looking like a full technologically integrated 7th grade classroom right now. So that's pretty exciting that some of those larger spaces were actually able to turn into classroom spaces.
Okay, very good. Are you going to be doing A/B days? No, we're not.
No.
Because we don't need to. So at the high school level, we are, as a matter of fact, but we will not need to be doing an A/B 1 day in, 1 day out at MTA. It's all the way in. There's a follow-up question here also that we might as well take right now, and that is K through 4, is there an option to do remote learning, Jason? If they don't
Yes,
want to
there
come to
is.
the building.
Yes, there is. Yes. So it's going to look a little different at the beginning of the year when we're in class versus if we ever do go completely remote. But yes, we will have that right from Jump Street. families will have that option to remote learn.
Right. Now, it will be very difficult for, well, hey, on Monday we're going to be in, on Wednesday we're going to be out. We're going to ask you to work with us on that.
Right.
Right? So
Communication
to coordinate if you choose the remote option, right? So that's something that we can work on personally with you and your family. After school care. What about after school care? The same principles that we talked about today will be in effect for after school care, but we have some great news about after school care. Well, do you want to talk a little about the AmeriCorps program?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Actually, Gannon University wrote up a grant for us for an AmeriCorps Vista program, and we have a full-time staff member, AJ Culpepper is her name. She'll actually be working on bringing in additional experiences for students on the basis of student and family requests. To again offer that enrichment for all of our students at MTA, in addition to the regular after-school aftercare program at the school.
Okay, we're very excited about that, and many thanks to our community partner Gannon University for making that possible for our kids. Oh, so a question: in would they have to attend Mass every Friday still? We're going to be going to Mass.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be going on Fridays.
Right.
Now, I will say this. We had made a major investment this summer. Matter of fact, it's being installed in a week of a new sound system in our cafeteria. And on many instances, rather than making the walk over to the cathedral, we'll have a lot of our school masses right in the cafeteria, as long as we can keep everybody distanced. So again, distancing will be a priority when we have masses, but we still intend to gather as a faith community every Friday.
Absolutely.
It's part of who we are.
Yep. And we do have the ability and the flexibility as well that if we cannot appropriately space everybody for Mass, that they will have the option to Zoom in from their classrooms as well.
Okay. Question: will there be a weekly newsletter? Sure.
Yeah, whether it's going to be weekly or not, yeah, there are definitely going to be weekly communications. But in terms of a format of an actual newsletter, we're thinking about at least bi-weekly for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right, and
Yep.
we've been doing monthly newsletters, and Drew Bledgy from our advancement team, he's our director of strategic communications. He's done a great job of putting those newsletters together. So as we mentioned in the last slide, communication is going to be incredibly important, but it's a two-way street, everybody, right? We're going to do our level best to communicate with you, but we need you to do your level best to communicate with us as well. This is going to be a really, really tight partnership to pull this off this year. So we're counting on everybody to talk. Talking's a good thing, right? Yelling's a bad thing. Talking's a good thing. So we want to make sure we're talking to each other. Will lunches be individually packaged, Jason?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, through the National Food Program, the lunches will all be pre-packaged for you and completely using sanitary measures and things like that.
Right. So the cafeteria line isn't happening this year. We'll pre-package and kids will get their meals, and K through 4 to the classroom, 5 through 8 will be eating in the cafeteria. So another question: how will remote learning look to the parents? I just lost the rest of the question, so I got to find it here. How will remote learning look for parents who work daily and must use childcare?
How it's going to look? Okay, so how it's going to look if we do remote learning and they are at childcare is that, especially for the upper grades, we'll be using the Teams Rooms platform, so the child will be able to have the ability to do that on their own and join the classes right in that remote setting. For the younger kids, we did realize this problem and we do understand, so that's why we went to a little bit more simplistic model or a little bit user-friendly model. So that's going to look different for different families because we're going to be doing some pre-recorded videos, things like that. The students will have access to that at any point in the day. So if the child has to wait till mom and dad get home or grandma and grandpa get home, they'll be able to get on and watch those pre-recorded videos at any point throughout the day, even at night. And also because of the one-to-one iPad initiative, if we do end up going remote, they will have access to that iPad and all those applications literally right at their fingertips. They just turn it on, press a button, they're good to go.
Okay, and then another question, just to reiterate. So Jason, do we have a choice of whether or not to send the kids in person?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And we will be, like I said, it's going to be a communication thing to coordinate. So that partnership is extremely important as we move forward.
Okay, if a family chooses to have their child attend school virtually, will the child be on Microsoft Teams during the entire school day using that platform, similar to the setup at Prep and Villa?
Absolutely, yes. So for middle school, we are trying to replicate identically to what Cathedral Prep and Villa Maria Academy are doing in their classrooms as well. So yes, for middle school, they will have a schedule where they will sign in, they will press a button, and they will have access to the virtual classroom all day long.
Okay, Shelby gave us a big shout out. Simply no question, just thank you to everybody for all your hard work. Absolutely. Shelby, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we can discuss you not paying tuition. I'm just kidding, but we appreciate the shout out. Right?
I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate the shout out. Okay, dress code. What's our dress code? Same dress code, Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. It is relaxed enough that they will have the ability to wear their polos and their shorts. But we do realize that if you are remote learning in, we would like you to be dressed in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, so it's helpful because we're blessed to have a building that is air conditioned.
Absolutely.
So every room in the building is air conditioned, unlike the high school buildings, which are not in every room. And right. Chet can tell you the room he's in right now is a little bakey, but I do have a question. Maybe this is to Will. We talked about air filtration units. Are we talking MTA as well, Will?
Currently, Chris, we don't need, there's not a need because of the central air system and because of the filtration that is already in place with the HVAC system. There is no immediate need because of the air filtration and flow of air throughout the building. Basically keeps that air moving to reduce any buildup of viral loads.
Right. So that's been in the news the last couple of days, everybody, as you might know, that airflow and filtration is really important to controlling the virus. But with our system at MTA, it's more modern than some other schools that we feel really comfortable that we're going to be able to handle that. So another question, will first grade be virtual the entire class day?
We're still working out the specific models, and a lot of that is going to be the discretion of the teacher. But if you do choose that remote option while we are in school face-to-face, yes, you will have that ability to to video conference all day. I get how that can be tiring for a student as well. So it most likely you're going to have that for some periods, but also paired with some supplementary materials as well, whether that's handouts, things they're doing on their iPads, etc.
Okay. Question: my child is prone to nosebleeds in warm and dry weather. Can I send nose spray and extra masks to school?
Absolutely, yeah. And not only will we be able to keep that in the nurse's office with any of those medical needs, but also with the individualized bins for students too, we can keep some extra supplies in there as well. And those have already been purchased. So children will have a bin about this size that will fit right into their cubby hole, and that will be just for their educational use.
Okay. Some children, like my daughter, don't like wearing their mask because it's hard to breathe. Are breaks, or do you have a plan for that? So again, face shields are optional. And I have to tell you that I'm a face shield person. I wear mine quite a bit because I too feel a bit restricted in wearing a mask, so I do it both ways. But for sure, you can use a face shield if the cloth mask seems too restrictive.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll try to accommodate as best we can, but masks are going to be required. Some type of face covering will be an absolute requirement. Will there be gym class, and what will that look like?
That's a great question. That's one of the things that's actually on the agenda right now that I'm working out with teachers. It's going to be different depending on the grade. So for the younger kids, as of right now, because of the equipment that we do have available, for instance, the foggers and things like that, and sanitation, instruments, we are able to, if the children were using the playground setting, that we would be able to sanitize that after every use. Also, a schedule is going to have to be a part of that, but a lot of things are going to have to be done in the classroom, in the gym, but keeping that scheduled so that there's limiting as much contact as possible.
Okay, and by the way, these questions help us too.
Absolutely.
So this is a fluid plan, right? This is as of right now, 7/17 on August 6th. Things could change in the next 2 weeks.
Sure.
We all know how it's been for the last 4 months. So things change rapidly. So is there an alternative option to meet the teacher day rather than in person? That's really something I haven't thought of.
Absolutely. So I had a discussion about this today. So we will be having the Meet the Teachers Day. What we want for you families especially is we want to give you the closest, the closest idea of what school is going to look like. So because of that, we are going to move that from that day, next week Saturday, and we're probably going to move it to the following week at night, and we're going to spread that out most likely over 3 nights. But again, yes, we will probably set up that virtual option, but because we're taking all of these safety precautions, we're spreading them out, we're staggering the schedule, we would highly encourage you to come in just so you could actually meet the teachers and meet myself and see what the school is actually going to look like. But again, we will have that flexibility that you will be able to remote in as well.
You bet. Another question, will teachers and staff be tested preventively or only if they have symptoms? So we do not have plans at this time to test our teachers unless they are symptomatic at all of our campuses. I know personally speaking, they've asked me to be tested emotionally for my emotional health and my mental health.
Right.
I'm just kidding, everybody. So tend to be a little bit of a live wire.
Right.
But so no, we will do, testing will be done on a symptomatic basis.
Sure.
Best answer we can get.
And we do have already procedures in place that teachers will have their daily temperature checked as well and recorded. So.
Okay, will there be an option for grades 5 through 8 to start remotely?
Yeah, absolutely.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. So if you come away with this with anything tonight, we want you to know we've thought about virtually every option possible. So that if you want your child in school, we're ready. If you want your child at home learning remotely, we're ready. We're going to deliver the product to you on what you feel is in the best interest of your child. So if you come away with tonight's meeting with anything, that's the theme. It's going to be your choice, but we will partner with you to educate your child, whether in the building or out of the building. So what will dismissal look like? Chaos. Next. I'm kidding.
Yeah, so we'll be running a staggered schedule. We're trying to keep it as close as possible to what it was, but implementing those safety procedures as well. So if it is, we'll have, instead of having them just in the cafeteria, the children will be spread out in the cafeterias, some of the main hallways and the gymnasium, so that we are appropriately spaced throughout dismissal. But it'll look similar, but with that added levels of safety.
Okay, a couple of cafeteria questions. Really good question. Will there be meals provided for families who choose remote learning?
I believe, yeah, absolutely.
I think the answer is yes.
Yes, they can pick those up.
Yeah, so basically, there's increased flexibility through the free and reduced lunch program by USDA guidelines. And so one of the things that's going to have to be a coordinated system that that administration is going to be putting in place. And once we get more clarity and guidance on that, we'll relay that information out to families.
Okay, beautiful. And also, are families able to pack lunches? Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Up to the discretion of the family.
Pack away. Just make sure you put an extra brownie in there for Mr. Haggerty. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Will there be before school care?
Yes. Yes, there will be. And like I said, when we were going over the schedule, the building will be opened we're looking at 7 o'clock is when that open time is going to be. So anytime between 7 and 8 is going to be that arrival period for students.
Okay, let's see. My daughter won't stay still. My daughter will be taking the bus with her big brother. So if for some reason she has a fever and I'm not the one bringing her to school, will she be brought into the building until I can get her?
So if she is displaying a fever, we will be moving her. Once her temperature is checked, we'll be discreetly moving her into a designated zone within the school building, and then from that point, parents will be contacted, and we'll call you and have a discussion over the phone about what our next steps would be. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. And when are the iPads being distributed?
That's a great tech question. I don't know if you wanted to take that one.
Yeah. So the answer about the distribution of the iPads, basically we're going to start the school, because again the plan is for students to be in the building to start the school year. Is that that distribution for anybody that's choosing to be fully remote, that distribution won't occur until at the earliest the first week of the school year, as we're getting all of that technology coordinated across the campus.
Okay, great. What will virtual learning look like for fourth grade students if they are not on Teams all day? Will they be able to ask their teachers questions in real time?
For the younger students for fourth grade, so the questions won't be in real time. They'll be able to communicate through Seesaw. So basically, like I said, it wouldn't be asking a question directly back immediately. It would have to be through the Seesaw platform, or actually they could do it through the Zoom platform if they were conferencing. So it could be immediate. If the teacher was teaching, like I said, this is going to be on the discretion of the teacher. If the teacher was teaching through a Zoom video conferencing platform, they would see the chat question come up and they could answer it immediately. So they do have that capability. But again, a lot of that is going to be on the discretion of the teacher. So once the teachers have their specific plans in place, they will be communicating to parents exactly how that's going to look. But as of right now, yes, they do have the capability.
Okay. Is there a dress code for the students who will learn remotely?
Yes.
We're going to ask that your kids are dressed like they're ready for school.
Yep.
Especially the kids, especially 5 through 8.
Right. If I'm going into the building at 9 o'clock at night, I'll put my shirt and tie on, just because, you know, there's a certain level of, you know, work that you put out when you are dressed in a particular way, and there are a bunch of studies behind that. So people do perform better when wearing some sort of uniform.
Okay. Are any rooms being reconfigured to be homerooms, which weren't homerooms before?
So yes, so just because the students will be staying in, so 7th grade will stay in their 7th grade classroom. The difference is that 7th grade classroom right now was the former art room. But they will be staying in their homerooms for the entire instructional period of the day.
Okay. Masks for gym class. Will, Jason, what's the answer on that one? Are they required to wear masks in gym class?
Will, did you want to take this one? I mean,
yeah,
I'm still looking towards guidance towards this from the CDC.
Yeah, we're still looking for specific guidance from the Pennsylvania Department of Education on that, because we're looking at that for prep and villa as well. However, more than likely that there will be required mask wearing during gym class. That's what I would prepare for. Just basically suggest that would be the case.
Okay. At what time do classes start if you're watching remotely? So grades 5 through 8, they'll follow the very same schedule as if they were in the building.
Absolutely.
Right?
So so that 8:15 mark when homeroom was ending, you would check in remotely, and then you're good to go.
Very good. And we have just a couple more questions. Where can we find the before and after school care information?
Absolutely. That will be communicated with parents over the next week or two. More or less, ideally we will send that out next week. Absolutely.
Okay. And just one more. If I'm doing remote, can I pick up my iPad ahead of time? Of course.
If tech is ready for it, yeah, absolutely, we can work that out. And again, that's with the partnership with communication. So if that's something we know about prior to starting school, we'll do our best to try to accommodate that.
Okay, this is a quick. If I pull my child out of football due to COVID concerns, will we get a refund? I don't know what a refund for participation for the football.
Yeah, so that would probably be diocesan, I would have said.
Right.
Yeah.
So
just a quick answer on that for everyone. So that because of the diocesan football team, that refund would have to be going through the diocesan office. So that was not money paid into Mother Teresa Academy or Prep Villa or anything along those lines.
Okay, so we've gone through all of our questions. We greatly appreciate your patience and attendance tonight. Again, we are going to post this on the website tomorrow, and we will also have the slide deck available. So one more question just came in. Just to clarify, all students must attend the first week of school, then have the option to go remote.
Not necessarily. The only reason we would encourage you to be in the classroom the first week is to give us the ability to not only get your technology, but have the chance to actually train your child in the integrated technology. So we'd like to integrate that technology in the classroom environment first before having that option. But again, if you're willing to work with us and that's something you're truly worried about, we can work that out before school starts. So you'll be able to be trained before that, and then we can start school seamlessly.
Personally speaking, I think it's really important for your son or daughter to meet their teacher.
Sure.
It's really,
yeah,
really important. The human experience is part of life, everybody, and that's part of the human experience. So before we go, Will, any final comments for everybody?
No, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you for very good questions. One quick note for everybody, if you do not have a working email on file at the school, please contact the main office tomorrow or early next week to make sure that we have at least one live email for every one of our families. Ms. Munoz is going to be updating that list, and that's going to be a key measure for our communication out to families moving forward, the same way that we have used that in the past. But we've got a bunch of holes in that list right now, and so that would be a key way for Mr. Haggerty, Jason, myself to be able to communicate with everybody. But thank you all, and I always feel comfortable to be able to reach out if you have any questions, and God bless.
Thanks. Chet, you got to unmute.
First of all, thank you all so much for the questions and even attending this, taking the time out of your day. I can't tell you how excited we all are for this upcoming school year. The hard work of the staff, faculty, administration, just getting the school ready. I can assure you that this will be the best and safest learning experience for your young children. So thank you again very much.
Jay?
Thank you, Chris. I just wanted to say I'm extremely humbled by the support that we're getting from the community with this initiative. With your partnership, we have a rare opportunity to give your children a superior education this year in these uncertain times, and that I am certain of. So I want to thank you, and I look forward to celebrating our collective successes for this upcoming school year.
You bet. Thanks everybody for joining us. My wife Jen and I are blessed to have 4 children. So moms and dads, I know what it's like to have kids. And to us, there are no more important people in our lives than our 4 children. They are gifts from God. I can promise you this, we will love and nurture your children like they're my own every single day of this year. Their health is as important to us and to me as it is to you. So that's how we're going to roll at Mother Teresa Academy this year. We are all a family. We are all together. We are the saints of Mother Teresa Academy, and we are going to have a great school year. Pandemic or not, adversity or not, we'll stare it in the face and we'll succeed. We're here to help you raise your children, have them learn, and to position them someday so that they can enter the gates of heaven. That's why we exist. God bless everybody. Be safe, and we can't wait to see you in a few weeks.